This episode's subject is an interesting one. Much like Sarah Hammer, Michael Snyder, or Megan Schroeder, this person isn't strictly considered a troll, so just like the other aforementioned names, it begs the question why they are being highlighted. While these people were not defined as trolls, some of their actions, both intentional and unintentional, can arguably be considered a form of trolling to onlookers. But more importantly for the purpose of this series, some were considered trolls by Chris, his family, or his friends. Does this wholly define them as trolls? No, not always, and it's not always certain. Same with this person. However, in the case of this person, they were both a troll and a counter-troll. She's been considered a white knight, a gatekeeper, an enabler, and an attention seeker, all the while garnering a negative reputation in the Chris Chan community for her online behavior and actions. This is Anna McLerran. It is early 2005 and Chris is 23 years old. One day he decides to go to the Charlottesville Fashion Square Mall, a place that he often frequented and which he considered an attraction location. Now you're all aware of what he would do at these attraction locations. In this case, he'd arrive at the mall, advertise himself as a single man, and hope that a single woman would notice him and become his girlfriend in order for him to fulfill his love quest. This particular day, he is seen pacing outside of an Abercrombie & Fitch by a 19-year-old woman named Anna McLerran, who was working at the nearby PacSun. Born July 30th, 1985, Anna Elizabeth McLerran would watch Chris, along with her other coworkers. Nicknaming him the Crazy Pacer, Anna chronicled his behavior, shown in a blog entry she uploaded on February 5th, 2005, called The Tale of the Crazy Pacer. This account was considered a remarkable independent account not just because it was told by a complete stranger at the time, but because it was used as a tool for people to debunk suspicions that Chris himself was trolling others or pulling on an elaborate hoax. Now this account has been read in full ad nauseum before, so I'm going to summarize it to the best of my ability. Anna describes Chris's habit of pacing back and forth in front of Abercrombie & Fitch, indicating that he wore the same clothing and how he would bring his Game Boy while he paced, sometimes stopping to shout at the wall before resuming his pace, and he would sing loud enough to be heard by her. She notes somewhat exact times when he would pace the area, typically between 2 and 4 o'clock p.m., leaving around 5 o'clock. She mentions that Chris would sometimes peek into the PacSun where she worked, and soon one of her coworkers had the idea that they would wave at Chris when he peeked in there the next time. That next time came, and they all waved, catching him by surprise, but he waved back. Anna later went on break and caught him sitting outside PacSun, and later on, Chris entered the store, much to the surprise of Anna and her coworkers. He approached her and struck up a conversation where he attempts to hit on her, they exchange names, and Chris talks to her about how his eye color was different due to a case of pink eye. He then asks her for her phone number, to which she refused, and then Chris gave her a homemade business card with his contact information on there. Anna does indicate that it wasn't the last time she saw him, and she made a follow-up post on February 8th where she talked about seeing him again. After this blog entry was posted, Anna befriended Chris and he threw a surprise birthday party for her in 2006. However, despite her telling Chris she wasn't interested in a boyfriend when they first met, Chris continued to make romantic advances towards her. This activity continued until she told him that she was a Mormon, and even coming out as a lesbian to him despite the fact that she didn't tell her family beforehand. She later said, quote, "It was the only way to get him to stop thinking of me as a candidate." They maintained contact, and it was around 2007 when Chris was discovered by Encyclopedia Dramatica that he expresses his disgust with ED via email to Anna. Anna responded to him on November 5th, comforting him. She states that the website is cruel and lacking in humor in what they've written, suggesting that he finds out who's behind it to sue them for defamation of character, mentioning that she plans on taking the same action against ED. She asks him to keep him updated. Chris describes how it was the worst weekend of his life, who he suspects of being behind the image on ED, and how he plans to deal with it. Another email he sent to her concerns Joshua Martinez and Megan Schroeder, and the status of his love quest in the face of meeting a potential sweetheart, Lori Lopez. Anna took to Encyclopedia Dramatica, editing Chris's page and providing a new section in an effort to change the written perception of Chris. Posting his user Annie Banani, she wrote, quote, "I wrote that blog back when I didn't know Chris personally. I got to know him soon after that, and we became real friends. He's a really nice guy with a great sense of humor. Yes, to the outsider he is quirky, and some of his actions and the things he says can be funny, but at the same time he cares deeply about his friends, and all the other good stuff nobody looking at this page wants to hear about. I just wanted to put that out there though, since I obviously can't permanently delete the blog inclusion. I'll just have to wait until this whole website is shut down for good." At first, users believed that Chris himself wrote it and he was credited with it, but Anna admitted to writing it on Twitter under the now defunct username Our Lady Anna in December 2009. She stated that her intentions were altruistic in nature. According to another tweet from her, quote, "C-Chan continues to crack me up with his antics. I know he's straight, but Lord, if that boy would just heed even a few of my warnings, I flatter myself to think he'd go far." There is also indication that Anna was a troll in the beginning and shared her interactions with Chris on the Quickie forums, interacting with leading trolls at the time. Also, it is stated that Anna would often talk to the trolls about herself. When the image of Chris wearing his mother's underwear surfaced, Anna's first reaction consisted of her saying, quote, "What the fuck?" laughing at the image and punctuating with, quote, "He's getting so famous." But in December 2009, she noticed Nicole Richie using the same image against Benji Madden. She took note and attempted to reach out to them via Twitter, demanding that the image be removed. She attempted to provide reasons for protecting him, citing his autism and naivete, and she would criticize the Quickie and others who possessed the picture or discussed Chris, claiming that there is no truth to their claims and continually defending Chris. A majority of interactions between Anna and Chris via Facebook provide some insight into their dynamic. From January to March 2012, Anna has encouraged him to look into seeing a therapist, discouraging him from wishing for the gameplace's demise since it would hurt his case, informed Chris that Megan Schroeder is not a troll, and made a comment in regards to Chris's post about his court date in March 2012. When Chris said that the charges against Michael Snyder might be dropped or him landing in jail might occur, and how he does not want to die a virgin, Anna responds, quote, "Well, if you go to jail, you probably won't die a virgin." This process continued and is evident in April 2012, when Chris made the claim on Facebook that he lost his virginity. Anna reacted with shock and reacted to trolls in an effort to curtail the attention. She had privated her Twitter account since people who were trolling Chris would follow her, and she released a string of tweets from April 12th to the 15th in 2012 where she says, quote, "I'm fed up with the way people have treated my friend over the years. He doesn't deserve the hand life dealt him, and it's stopping now. Dear fat, ugly man children constantly trying to add me on Facebook to screen cap my interactions with Christian. You are all getting blocked. And a special fuck you to any of you cunts who follow me on Twitter purely in case I say something about Chris. So much negativity. Some people need to go live their own lives. Well, actually, everyone needs to. Ha! Tell me, basement dwellers, what are you hoping to accomplish with this? I'm a bit too evolved to take your bait. Get a life, please." In May 2012, Anna attempts to get Chris to remove threats against people on his Facebook, to contact NBC 29 about recent trolling on the Quickie forums, makes the claim that Jacqueline, Jackie, Rami, and Kim Wilson were trolls, and discourages Chris from believing that photoshopped images against him were real. He also tells trolls in a post entitled, "Hey doofs, leave Anna alone," to leave her be, arguing that she doesn't deserve to be bothered, acknowledging that Anna might bear a physical resemblance to his mother, concluding by saying that he wants the trolls to go after him and not his friends or family. Anna would attempt to comfort Chris and say that he doesn't deserve to be baited and trolled, how he is being mistreated and he is being dealt an unjust hand, continuing this trait throughout their remaining conversations. She has even suggested to Chris that he stop using the internet and to change his number in order to stem the trolling in June 2012. She would attempt to correct his use of coarse language and would continue to accuse Kim Wilson of being a troll, attacking her on Facebook in September 2012, inviting Kim to prove her wrong. She has found issue with Chris's acceptance of lesbianism and condemnation of homosexuality, claiming that he cannot justify one and denigrate the other. In January 2014, when Chris's house caught on fire, Anna was absent from his Facebook posts that month, only resurfacing in August 2014. In December 2014, the Quickie forums received a leak where Anna attempted to halt a troll named Katie, or Catherine, from continuing her relationship with Chris. Anna suspected that it was a troll and she attempted to sway Catherine by telling her to leave Chris alone, indicating that her identity is false and is evident, saying that her actions will do irrevocable damage to Chris, saying that she's messing with Chris, Barb, and Anna herself. Anna cites giving Barb false hope and how Katie is playing on Barb's fear of Chris dying alone without anyone to care for him. Anna concludes her tirade by telling Katie to not pretend anymore, to walk away, and to never repeat this behavior. Despite her absence afterwards, she's mentioned by Chris again in 2015, indicating that they're still friends at that time. Fast forward to April 2018, where Anna contacted the captain when she raised concerns that Chris was being manipulated. Despite her inability to receive any confirmation from Chris, the captain, Marvin, also known as the man in the pickle suit, and Null took this information and discovered that Chris was being manipulated by a troll group known as the Idea Guys. On July 11th, in a post on Kiwi Farms titled The Chris Chan Extortionists, Null mentions Anna McLerran. In addition to his frustration with others like Rocky Shoemaker and the Greene County Sheriff Stephen S. Smith, Null makes his frustration with Anna clear. Quote, "The only reason why we even figured this out is because of Anna McLerran, who put off contacting the police for over a month to give her time for her college finals, then refused to help us at all." On August 5th, 2018, Chris released a series of tweets involving the Kiwi Farms and mentions how information posted concerning Anna McLerran and Rocky Shoemaker were false. Chris explains that they were unable to assist the police, saying they were limited in asking for an apology on their behalf. Null has stated that he would prefer that Chris have IRL friends like Anna, but he states that Anna attempts to be possessive and interpreted Null's comments from July to inspire her to tell Chris to not talk to anybody that isn't her. Null later mentions that Anna has told Chris to drop the Kiwis, including Null, Marvin, the captain, even people who Chris met at BronyCon, indicating that she wants him to confide in her. Null suggests the thought that Chris either, quote, wants her to get along or get lost. Numerous farmers took to discussing Anna, criticizing her for her possessive behavior and her inability to assist. The captain even stated that Anna hates Kiwi Farms, Null, and he mentions how she did little to help with the extortion situation. He mentions Anna's ego and how she negatively reacted to a video in the Twitter thread called the Rakita Law video that actually portrays her negatively. Anna reached out to Chris in order to turn him against Null and the other Kiwis, but Chris did not relent. As of today, Anna McLerran is 34 years old. She no longer lives in Virginia, and there is no known communication between her and Chris.